Hello, it's Lord here, where I'm streaming some 2D4X, which is a strategy game I'm making. It's open source. It's with Godot, which is also an open source. It's Godot Net, which is the C# version. This game is inspired by like Paradox games and Dominions, games like that. We're doing a little test here today with my chat thing, which I can't move all of a sudden. This little chat thing. It's supposed to auto-activate, and it didn't work yesterday, and so I wanted to double check today to see if it worked. We're also going to do a lot of tests. I test on fixing some code, because this shouldn't be 0. This number shouldn't be 0. And I put in the title that it was building materials, and I totally was thinking this is building materials. But then when I started it this morning, I was like, wait, that's not, it's remnants, not building materials. I even have a tooltip for these things. So I fucked up my title first thing. And then I was like, I should just go back and fix my title, right? But I didn't. So whatever, that's what we're doing there. We're waiting to see if this chat works. And we are going to try to fix this. I remember this remnants things being a pain. So the issue is, remnants in this game are leftovers from the old world before the apocalypse. So this is a post-apocalyptic game where everyone's dead. So you only have a few people. And there's remnants here, because if you click on a county, it actually shows the remnants that are there. So we know and it's supposed to, when you close and you're just looking at it this way, it's supposed to show a total of all of your stuff, and that's obviously not working. So we got to figure that out. So I'm still looking at chat over here for YouTube. Let me see if it automatically did this. Go back over here. It did not. I guess I have to click this. I thought for a while it fixed itself, but auto find and activate. There we go. Now it'll work. Oh well. And I don't think I need to do it for this one. Yeah, it's already connected. Because we got the Twitch one. Anyways, so I already cannot remember how I fix this. The other. So yesterday, none of this stuff was showing up. And the issue is that remnants are at a county level, but also at a faction level. So when you look at the county level, while like building materials, they're different goods, and it's counting the different goods that are considered building materials, like iron is a building material. And I don't know how I like this. This is like equipment. These are like placeholder icons. Everything is placeholder. But I don't know I'm not sure how I like this. We might have to turn this into buttons that you can like click on, and it will have a little panel that will come down. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but let's try to figure out this remnants thing first before we do anything else. Remnants versus well, yeah, I guess the first thing we should check. No, we know they're marked as where am I going? We know they're marked as remnants because they show up at the county level. Each one of these things is considered a county, even though you can actually see when I made this, I got these maps from whatever, the U.S. government or something. And this game takes place in North America, so it's going to have, Canada, Mexico, whatever, down there, Belize, all that, to the Panama Canal, I think, is where we'll go. So these are the real counties. But we just made them this size just for fun, because this is too small. Especially if it's more populated areas, and like look at Idaho, look at this weird little county. We don't want them that small. So let's think about this here. I think it's the max storage. So there's a setting that we have. Let's look at our save game, because that was giving me some idea yesterday. So saving seems to work. It's a really long save file. But let's look at the shipbirds. That's the name of the player faction. So here we are. We have a research items. We have the counties the faction owns. We have, see, this has a max amount. And this one, see, they all have max amount, except I think Remnants doesn't. Yeah, so that, and I think the reason why we were doing that is because we have to set the max amount for storage. So there's storage. If you go in here, you have a limited amount of storage, and that's what this max amount is. I wonder what happens. Let's look where we set this. So this is probably, where do we do this? Where are we setting the max amount? Probably county generation, maybe faction generation. Maybe there's some storage things for the faction stuff, like building materials. Create factions, notify property list change. What the fuck is that? I don't remember that at all. Create factions. So we go through this. Faction goods dictionary. Add factions to diplomacy. We're almost to working on war again, because we're gonna change some stuff. So we just add this stuff in here. We're not messing with their max goods. Let's do it this way. Max amount equals initial max value. This is in good data. Oh no, not initial, that's an int. And that's getting that 2 million number. We probably don't need this GD. Well, we might for this. If it's a faction good type. So I wonder why it doesn't set it, because it's a both. Okay, so this is what's happening. If we look back here, and this is one of the struggles that I've had, is I want to use these resources. And I was thinking about this when I was walking back from coffee this morning. So we have these, for the save system, we have to convert a Godot resource to a DTO and then JSON, and it's a huge pain in the ass. Zim, how's it going? Thank you for the lurking, like always. I appreciate it. Oh, and that also means that YouTube chat is for real working. So it's a pain in the ass, and so one of the solutions for that is to turn all of these resources, and I have a bazillion of them, these Godot resources, into a C# public class. And one of the reasons I don't want to do that is because I think it's much easier than having to open a file to go fuck with things. I just don't like that. I like the ability to go into a folder like this and click on something and then mess with them here. I think this is how it should be, because it's 2025. That's what I keep bringing up when people are like, just do a text file. It's like, dude, it's 2025. Why are we fucking with text files? So anyways, Remnants is what we got here. And the reason why that it's not getting set to the max good, its good type is both, because it's both a faction and a county. So that's why this isn't getting set. And then what happened, I'm wondering what goes wrong if we put in or both. I mean, I know I've done this before, but I can't remember. Or good type equals. I know I've done this before, and I think it fucks up their storage, but maybe it won't this time. Let's see, and we'll put a note in here if this is the deal. So yeah, I think that's the issue, is it messes with their storage when we do this. And I definitely remember fucking with this and then being like, I don't need to do this on stream because it's going to be a time sink and I should do it off stream, and then I never did anything with it at all. And I mentioned yesterday, which I never even thought of. So that worked. Is just making them separate goods. So there'd be a remnants county level and a remnants faction level. So then what happens over here? Their max thing is all fucked up. Yeah, so that's the issue, is that their max is fucked up over here. And this is a huge pain. This thing was a huge pain. So it looks like what it does, yeah, so it completely breaks this because this is 0. So this is going to actually set back at some point. Yeah, right here. It's going to reset their storage things. So, okay, so that gets fucked up there. But we need it to be a higher number than their goods, than their storage, because it could be like they could have 222 in a bunch of different counties and they're all added together. So I wonder if when we do this, we're using the same, it looks like we're using the same good. And what I mean, the same Godot resource. So the Godot resources aren't unique, I guess. Sorry, I'm laughing. Whenever I stream and I mention the resources, Godot resources, people always are like, well, are you editing them? Are you changing them at runtime? It's like, and so there's this thing that when I stream, a person will come into chat and they'll glance at the code, they'll see what I'm doing right this very second, and they'll see like this, and they'll be like, well, all you do is you get rid of this thing and you change it from a resource to a public class, and they don't have any idea how I'm using it. They just pull that shit out of their ass. And that's what was making me laugh, is because this has come up, and people have been like, you know, the problem is that you need to do this one thing and never change it, and it's like, man, that's not how this runs. Like, it's quite surprising how often people give advice when they don't have any idea what they're talking about, what's going on. Anyways, unimportant. So let's think about this. We need, if that's the case, so on faction generation, we're making these duplicates of the, where was that? We're still in faction generation. We're making duplicates of the goods, I believe. So we have a faction data. We're reading this from disk. Create faction goods dictionary. Yeah, so we're duplicating this, but I don't think it's duplicating. This is a classic problem. Back to the thing. So, Godot resources don't like to be copied if they have complicated shit inside of them. So which is another problem with Godot resources. So if we convert, so that's why this exists. You know, maybe we could turn this thing into a reflection. Someone who was talking about this, someone was mentioning for these DTOs, we could do reflections. The problem, I think, is actually none of these these are all simple variables. We probably could. Let's ask ChatGPT, because one of the huge issues with making these copies of shit is that if I add a new variable, I have to go in and add them in here, and then I forget, and then I wonder why it's bugging out. So let's go. Oh, I don't have my GitHub or anything up. and I suddenly got a slight headache. A slight headache. Let's see this. Can you turn this into a C# reflection thing? I think they're called reflections. Okay. So this is with that T bullshit. If original is equal to null, throw copy public properties for each copy public fields. I don't know what any of this shit means. Usage, reflection copy. What is this thing? Is this a... Oh, this is going to go in as what? So I used reflections one time when I first started programming, and I was trying to do a inventory system, and I was really struggling. This is before I knew what enums were, and enums solves a problem for real, but I used ChatGPT actually and really struggled with it, but I got it to work, and it was just a disaster to try to fuck with. So let's see what we got here. What is this property info? We need to import something. It looks like, yeah, that system reflections there. So then it says, well, now we need to do a test of this somehow. And probably, see, this one works. These are all simple variables, but almost no other resource has just simple variables. They have all sorts of crazy shit. Even though I have been changing that, I didn't know that was going to cause me issues in the future when I did that. So let's do this back in faction generation. We'll do it with this one. Where is it getting this from? See, it's supposed to be duplicating it, but it's not duplicating it. So what's happening is these are, when we make a copy of these two resources, they're actually linked together. So if we fuck with one, the other one gets fucked with. And so that's what's the problem with this, is that these faction goods are actually getting fucked with. Wait, I'm thinking though. Yeah. And it's not affecting anything else on the top bar, because these top bar ones aren't used in the county level except for remnants, and I think that's the issue. So what does this thing say to do? What is this monster? We'll copy this. Reflection copy. We can just pull it. That's a static thing? What is that thing? I dumped it into good data. It is static. We'll probably want to move this out of here. So let's do this. Import missing reference file. Where do we... Good data. Okay. Good data, reflection copy, new copy, good data, new... So this should be... I wonder why I have to cast this. New good data. I guess you have to cast it when you duplicate. I haven't done any duplications here in a long time. All right, let's see what this does. We'll see what implodes here. Holy shit. I have 104 misframes. This computer is so close to death. If I reboot it, it says that the hard drive's failing and to get my shit off of here. No, that's fine. Yes, I was thinking about this thing. No, this is still fucked up. So I wonder. So that didn't help us. Because it would have solved that problem. I think. Let's think about this. So we have a new good data. So it's going through each one. Oh, it's probably, you know what it's probably also doing is copying the ones that say none. Because there's some that have none, I'm pretty sure. Well, it works, so we won't fuck with it, with that part. So, how can we test this to double check that my thought process here is working? So this is making a new copy, supposedly, but we're not getting, where is this? So faction generation, where are we setting this storage? So this must be, well, let's go through, when we hit start, we're going to go through this. Yeah, so faction generation happens first, and then county generation happens. Let's look at county generation. Update goods. Update goods. County max storage. All county data list. Count county max storage, assign max storage to goods. This is where this shit's falling apart. We might not work on this forever because, like I said, I knew that this is gonna this particular thing. The other way we could fix this is just make another one that's called like faction resources or something, or faction remnants. I mean, that might be the best solution. I was reluctant to do that at the beginning because I had a whole different way of doing things, but now it's just it's turned into a clusterfuck, and we can just keep adding to the clusterfuck. So what is this thing doing? For each county max storage, for each this is not what we want. Assign max storage to goods. County goods, so this is assigning them. Wonder why this is not duplicating the... I wonder if we... Let's go back to faction generation. I wonder if we do this. We copy it and duplicate it. If that will do anything. I don't think it's going to. Why doesn't the new copy work? Because we don't want it to be references. So in C#, like when you do equal signs to a lot of stuff, it just is a reference back to this other variable. I wonder if I should just just turn it into a faction remnants. It's the only thing it's fucking used for is this thing up here. I noticed this new thing that I have been doing for a long time. It's because I just, dropped the F-bomb there. This new thing, whenever I meet somebody new, I noticed I did this because I met that guy when I was shooting my bow, or last weekend or whatever, weekend before. I always make sure to cuss. And then I watch their eyes when I cuss. Right at the beginning of the conversation when I meet someone, not in a work environment, but to see how they react. If they like flinch and look all upset, then I know that probably we're not going to get along. All right. What the fuck is this? So this didn't do anything. So how do we, like, this doesn't seem like this is actually duplicating shit, nor this is doing anything. Or there's something else going wrong. So then at county generation, like we were just looking at, we would assign max storage to goods. So we go through this. We assign the max storage to goods. For each one in the goods, we do this. We divide by this number, the perishable. And so why is it getting that 1700 number? Wonder why it's getting that 1700 number. instead of, so it should be divided, but it's like it's getting million, like 2 million or something, 2.5 million. So let's see what this thing does. Oh, there's too many. We could put a breakpoint there. Do we have Portland in here? Did we get as far as Portland? No. Yes, we did. Remnants is 100. So that works until we open up that other storage panel. I bet you. I bet you it's. I've had one other bug that was like this, where it only happened if you looked at it. I bet you. Yeah, I bet you it's when we look at this. This is reassigning stuff, and for some reason it's confused by that. So if we make it a faction remnants of faction remnants, and we call it remnants, I wonder. This doesn't do us any good. Let's get rid of this. I mean, it kind of did us some good, but it's too much. I guess we could have put it in here. It'll give us less things. I think that might be the best solution, is just set them up as a faction remnant. I wonder why I didn't do that before. Usually when I do things a certain way, there's a reason behind it, and then when you go back and do something to it, it fucks everything up. What if we go in? Yeah, this is actually disastrously bad. It would ruin all, it would take all of the food. We still have some because it's not part of, it's not part of that. Okay, so let's not just go in circles here. Let's go to, let's look at that panel and see what that panel is doing, because maybe it's just something I can fix about. But I do remember thinking I should not stream bug fixing this storage thing, because the storage thing is a fucking nightmare. It seems like it should be simple. You just divide the max amount of storage you have by the number of resources, and there you go, and then you can adjust them and stuff. Where are we looking? What are we looking for here? I guess it's a baby of this. We have some margin container. It's not the hero one. Select hero, no. Goods panel container, here we go. Let's look at this script. Yeah, we might kick this part down the road. This shouldn't be getting the error because it's not exported. That's some old info we don't need anymore. Generate storage H boxes, perishable, non-perishable, so it adds all these V child. So yeah, as I add resource, it automatically generates all this crap. Assign goods to storage H boxes. Update max available storage amounts label. So this does need to mess with their, so it does need to reset their max amount, because the player can adjust that number up and down. Count available storage amounts, storage, we're just counting stuff. set resource max values. This is set goods. We used to call them resources, but there's the Godot resources. Set good max value. So that's setting what the spin box says to that max value. So why is that one slurping up all of the max value? So it's going like from the bottom up, it looks like. When we go to goods, it goes from this one, it gets it, then this one gets the rest. Why is it doing that? This might be a nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare. All right, so it goes resource. If I rename this, we're going to get a bug because this is drag and drop. Good in good storage HBox. Let's build this. So we parse this as an int. If it's perishable, this is non-perishable. We add current non-perishable available. Why would that one, why would it, when it's going through? So at that point, its max amount is 2.5 million. So why isn't it like, even dividing by 6 or whatever would be a bigger number than 1,700? Total used, perishable, total available, current non-per update, each hit each box with good. With good. One usage. Good data max amount. See, so this goes through. But I must have I bet you. How am I getting this number? I bet you I have like a getter setter or something that sets that. Get storage HBox dictionary or storage. Yeah, we add the good type in the storage HBox if visible. Left click equals county data. Assign goods to storage. Update max available. Pause time. The value is a good data. Oh, we assign this to the actual box. That's how I used to do everything. This assigns the county resources, the county goods, to the storage HBox when this becomes visible. Updates top max assign available amount labels, not the spin box max amount. Okay, so that's talking about this. Okay. We don't, and that seems to still be working. Goes through every good and counts how much storage is assigned to them. Counts available storage. So we pass in max storage. And is it a bool? No, it looks like we're passing in an enum. And if it's perishable, available storage equals max storage minus storage. What? Go through every good and count how much storage is assigned to them. County goods, county data.goods values. This is the good type. Yeah, so we're getting the good data, or the good data, I mean, and then if it equals perishable, we add it to the storage. This is only for perishable, though. Wonder why we don't do it for Go through every good and counts how much storage is assigned to them. Available storage equals max storage. Why aren't we counting both? Was this thing broken before I made that change? Where was I doing that? Where did I do that? I put in that or whatever. Or fuck, I don't remember. Both or all enums dot county good type. Well, it doesn't. It's not even. So there's something wrong there. Where the fuck was that? That was under faction generation somewhere. Here's this thing. I originally had two different types of good data too, the faction level and the resource level, or in the faction level and the county level, but it was causing too many issues, so I made them all the same. I wonder if this says something about it only being for county goods. Faction. I'm almost positive it was on faction generation. Have I scrolled past it like 6 times? Let's do this. Let's find. We can go to all enums. I don't think I need this open. Save manager I might need open. Let's county generate. Hall master probably doesn't need to be open. Goods. Population generation we probably don't need open right now. Initial game load we probably don't need that open. All enums we do need here. So this was faction. So it's just good type. Oh, there's no none. It's just both. I must have been thinking of a different one like that one. So it's good type. It's all enums. Good type. Can I move this over here? All enums good type equals all enums. No, we know that it's not that because we're not getting anything. Where the fuck is this? Good data? County good. Banker? It wasn't the banker. I'm almost positive it wasn't the banker. All enums good type equals no. Player space, faction, good type. No, it's none of these. So I must be misremembering what I was just looking at. It was or something. It was, so let's, fucking A. My memory is so terrible. So we were setting the initial storage amount that should be under faction generation, which we're looking at right now. Notify create from disk. We're right here. Create faction good dictionary. Here's where we make our copy of everything. Where we did this. So then we didn't set the max storage here. Where the hell was I? I gotta update my music here. It stopped doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is playing. Okay, it wasn't in there. Create faction dictionary. We did this is where we did that. Notify property list change. What? What does this thing do? Emits the property list change signal. It's mainly used to refresh the editor so that the inspector and editor plugins are properly updated. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? All right, we're not going to get rid of it because definitely every time I do that. So maybe that was under county generation, and it seems like assign max storage. Yeah, I guess it was. No. Jesus Christ, it's like this. And I had an or. I put in or. Or. I can't believe that I just did. This has happened in the past too, where my brain just my memory is so fucking dog shit at this point. But I feel like I shouldn't have such a hard time finding it because so now I'm in the Hall Master? Okay. Starting goods to county. Okay, count max storage. So where are we doing this? We were setting that, and it was like just going through assign faction data to county data, assign data, update goods, copy and assign goods. What the fuck is this? County good type. This is where another one of these duplicate things that we might use that other. I'm curious now that we're here. Maybe we put in that little copy thing we did. Let's not fuck with that right now. Otherwise, it will be too. I'm already can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. Let's not make it more complicated. Assign county ID, which is the thing we wrote yesterday. Assign starting goods. Count for every county data. Count county max storage. Assign max storage to goods. No, this is not what we want. This is something else. This is for just the county one. Where the fuck did this go? Jesus Christ. Create fraction from disk. Going through each one of these. Create faction good dictionary. It's got to be in here. If we continue, it does all of this. And this is just for... this is the thing we did the one thing with, but where was it? All enums, good type, it's like this. Copy this. But get rid of this. And put in both. Jesus Christ. It's in good data? This is it. Okay, so this is a getter setter. that was extremely painful. Why is this exported? I don't think this needs to be exported. Especially if this one is. Now I forgot why we're looking at this. Yeah, so I don't, this has been a regular question of mine. I don't think this one needs to be exported, and it gets kind of confusing. Let's get rid of that export, just for now. I don't think that's going to cause us any other issues. All right, so what we were testing, the reason that the 30 minutes it took me to figure out what the fuck I was working on. Man, so my memory is dog shit, but I was Crystal. Hey, how's it going? Um, I was thinking about you earlier before I started my stream, and I was like, wait, does he still live in L.A.? Uh, all my cousins and shit live in L.A. I mean, when I say L.A., I mean the L.A. area, L.A. County, not actual L.A. City. Um, it's too expensive for them to. Illinois, right. So we're gonna test to see if this storage issue was happening before. I don't think it was before I put that or both. And I think that since we can't get that, let's try the one thing where we use the reflection to copy. Oh, you own a house, huh? Yeah, dude, the housing in Southern California is fucking out of control. Um, yeah, so this does work without that. So the both does throw it off. I'm curious if we go back to that county generation thing where I was looking at the duplicate right here. If we use that new thing, I think I have it right here. I sure do. And then we go and put this right here. I wonder what this does. If this has any effect. We won't be able to tell with that. Let's go back to the thing that took me 20 minutes to find and put this back. Yeah, Portland's also very expensive. It's definitely not LA level expensive, but if you like, Oregon's kind of a wasteland of rednecks, except for Portland and Eugene. So it's like it has a lot of high housing prices besides all the other reasons, you know. No, that has no effect. So I don't know if it's not duplicating or if it is duplicating it. It seems like this should be duplicating. Let's do this. Let's put a faction level remnants and a county level remnants. I think that might solve some of our issues. Just because this has been an ongoing problem where I set this both thing. And it's all just for this top bar. We're going to call this faction remnants. Are we using spaces? No. And then we actually, I kind of want them next to each other, honestly. So let's rename this to remnants faction. And then we're going to leave all this here in a second, but I want this to currently, actually we want the tooltip to show differently. What? Come on. Oh God. I don't know what the hotkey is for forward. to you know, redo. Here we go. We're going to set this one to faction good. Oh, we need to add a remnant though. All right, sorry, not a remnant. And we need to add a enum. Yeah, it's gonna break a bunch of shit. And then this one would be county. I don't know where our tooltip stuff is. Maybe we're just assigning the tooltip by like we're grabbing from the good name or some shit for that other part. Let's go over to all enums. We're gonna have to go. Remnants, wait. Remnants faction. Did we put an S at the end of that? We did. All right. Yeah, when I went to shoot my bow last weekend or whatever, I went into the city to meet my friend, and there's a park in the city of Portland. And I went into the city from the suburbs of Portland, and it made me miss living in the city because there's shit going on in the city. In the suburbs, it's pretty dead, dude. There's like nothing going. You can't walk anywhere. You can't do shit in the suburbs. And just people are all up in your business too. Like they're all like, if they see you walking down the street in the suburbs, they're like, who's that guy? What's he doing? What's that guy doing? And then, you know, like when I first moved in, they would come up and talk to me and ask me questions, personal questions about what the fuck I was doing. And, oh, we got to fix that other thing. Rename some stuff. Right here. Guess not. Okay. Is there, yeah. So people have stopped, kind of asking who I am or what's going on. The other day, I had to go to the bathroom really bad when I was walking back from coffee, so I was walking back really fast. And some dude was just staring at me like, what is that guy doing? Why is he walking so fast? It's just like, it's like, fuck you, I gotta go take a dump, man. No, I don't see anything here. Oh, maybe it's in that other, because we're instantiating some HBox thing. Let's look. Goods panel container. Huh. I guess that was not. Well, we'll find out. I just jumped over to here, though, and we need to be back over to here. Right here. So you are Remnants County Good. You are Faction Good. None. County Good type. Get out of here. You're a Faction Good type. And fuck. The problem with fucking with enums is that it's gonna throw off all these other enums. So the Faction Good type, we can't have that, and we gotta get rid of this. All right, let's build this again. Everything's gonna be busted. Yeah, in the city, here's our broken thing that I was looking for earlier. Update label with, okay, no, this is a different broken thing. So this is going to be Remnants, Faction, and probably, yeah, Faction Good type, Remnants, Faction. What else we got? Remnants, Faction. Remnants, Faction. Yeah, so I definitely miss living in the city. Living in but the problem with living in the city is you're gonna live in some tiny fucking apartment that's just falling apart. It used to be a hotel. Yeah, exactly. It is the rose-colored glasses. It's gonna be some tiny apartment that they converted from a hotel for fucking loggers or some shit. It's falling apart. It's got an elevator you gotta take because it's on the 10th floor of a building that's leaning because it's not built for it's not built for earthquakes. Your neighbor's gonna be screaming all the time because the walls are paper thin. I used to have this apartment where there was like, it was on the first floor, but the bathrooms windows went to what I was calling a chimney. It was just tiny little fucking uh, opening in like the center of the building. So like every two apartments had this little chimney thing where you had a window, for ventilation. And I could hear my neighbors fucking in their bathroom all the time. And I mean, it was gross. It was gross. they they had some weird kinks going on, and I would be in there taking like the gnarliest explosive shit, and I could hear them. Then they could probably hear me. And they were like, wouldn't slow them down. The stench probably was floating into their sexcapades, and yeah, yeah, that is definitely not wanted. If I could live in a house in the city, but while I was in the city, unreachable code detected. While I was in the city, what the fuck is this? We know what? I looked up a house that I was standing near. So there was a house I was waiting for my friend to come out of his apartment, and there was a house across the street, and it was $1 million. $1 million for the house there. Why did you do this? You've never done this before. Why did it suddenly start telling me that? It's never complained about that before. All right, who gives a shit? Maybe because I opened up that panel or something. Okay, I gotta stop whatever music this is. It sounds like soft jazz or something. We also, well, we don't have any that are both, but we do need to fix that code. Whoops. Oh no, we need to click on that. So that works. What was the problem? Well, we solved our problem by doing that? Okay, so whatever I just did fixed it. You found it easier to create? That's probably true. Yeah, and also that's actually a really good point, because I can make as much noise as I want. Like incredible amount of noise, and nobody gives a fuck. My neighbor next door on this side, which is because I'm mirror imaged, so it's actually over there, but whatever. He's like an 80-year-old dude, and when I moved in, he said, he's got a wife too, but she doesn't leave the house. He said, "I'll tell you if you're too loud, but I'm going deaf and I sleep like a corpse." So don't worry about it too much. And I've made some loud noise, even like hanging out in the backyard till 2 a.m, like just getting shit faced with my friends and stuff. And this neighbor is a piece of shit, so fuck them. Yeah, I think we just solved this problem. So yeah, definitely that. Like, it's actually like shocking how much noise I can make. And in an apartment, that would not fly. That would not. I would get evicted. They'd be constantly knocking on my door. All right. So let's go back to where I have that both thing. And let's get that out of there. This time I remember, I think it was under good data. Why didn't I think of doing it this way a long time ago? Yeah, let's get rid of this. And then let's run this one more time just to make sure I didn't fuck myself here. Well, I don't have a car, so I don't drive. So that's part of the thing too, is in the suburbs, you gotta really have a car. Home ownership. Yeah, so that's definitely, it's that thing too, where the apartment is so expensive. You could be putting your apartment rent into a home. You know what I mean? Like, it is the value of the monthly payment of a home. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. We're going to run into something. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna run into something where this is gonna break. Okay, that works. Something's gonna break because we did that. Yeah, I ran into one of my friends right when I bought my house here, and he's an artist, and um, he was telling me that he was gonna buy a house in this neighborhood, and I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome to have like one of my friends in the same neighborhood, you know. But he was like I said, he's an artist. And I was like, where the fuck is he gonna get? He's not a famous artist. Like, where is he getting money? Where is the money coming from? Um, I had to double check that auto mod message wasn't a real thing. Um, yeah, so I haven't owned a car in forever just because I never had them. Like, I had all sorts of car issues. I feel like every time I had a car, like when I had a car, every time I was doing something important, my car would break down. And then I got rid of my car. I sold my car, and I've just never bought one since then. And I always joke that like I'm a militant pedestrian now. Um, yeah, in LA, I imagine it was quite easy, a lot easier to be no car. I had a friend who this is like 20 years ago. Uh, moved to San Francisco, and they had a car, and it was $800 a month for the parking space. So I imagine now the parking space is $2,000 a month. So they sold their car. They was just like it was impossible to pay for the parking. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break though. Let me throw up my break timer, and let me pause my music that you guys can't hear, and I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. Sort of. For real. Come on. All right. What are we doing? We fixed that problem somehow. Yeah, I had a girlfriend that leased her car. Joker, how's it going, by the way? I had a girlfriend that leased her car, and she was really into that. But man, she never had any money. She's like, I used to drive her car because I didn't have a car. I would drive her car around. And one day, like the check oil light came on, and I was like, "When's the last time you like put oil on this?" She's like, "I've never put oil in it. It's a leased car." And I was like, "Oh." It was empty. It was empty of oil. Like the dipstick didn't bring any oil out, which actually impressed me kind of. It was a Jetta. It impressed me that it could run and not explode with no oil in it. Okay, so we fixed that problem. Let's look at our thing here and see. Do you have a car, Joker? All right, this is done. Can I recruit an A? Double check. Okay, so this we did double check yesterday. We didn't have any resources, so we do have resources. Let's see what happens when we recruit one, though. Do we get an error? Do they turn into a person? They do, and it looks like this is working. I thought this was broken, but I guess it fixed itself. This is right. What if we spawn somebody? Is that broken? No, it looks fine, too. I thought that was broken. All right, this is done. Yeah, especially, the thing that's with cars too is that when the minute you drive them off the lot, their value, it is toast. I know. So the archery thing actually makes me want to buy a car and living in the suburbs, but I don't also want to pay insurance and all that shit because it's just a money sink. But getting to it cost me $40 to get there and back to the archery place with Lyft. And that is a lot of money. I remember when Lyft felt inexpensive, but I guess they're making a profit now. So you don't even leave the house unless I have to. Cars taking money for everybody, payments, insurance. Yeah. Like a bike or a scooter. Yeah, I have a friend, a chick that I went on a couple of dates with, and she is a scooter person. She has a car, but she also has like a couple of scooters. Get all quadrophenia with it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Ahmad quadrophenia scooter. Gotta find, so they have all these lights and mirrors and shit. She kind of goes for this look. Not with all the mirrors, but this definitely. Like this. And she doesn't, not the mirrors, but the retro. I think it's a mod. Well, the whole thing is they just keep modding out their scooters. But when I say mod, I mean mod the style. Yeah, that's the same. Hers are more like this. Much more like this. Except one of them's hot pink. It's like this style scooter, but it's hot pink. Oh, look at this one. Oh. These gotta be bullshit though. Like somebody photoshopped and kept adding mirrors. Look at that one. That one's intense, dude. Anyways, auto load is only being applied to the player capital. It should be auto load total cap. All AI capitals as well. I wonder if, let's double check our data here. I wonder if we mess something up with one of these. They're actually going to be under counties. Cowlits. Okay, so this is the problem. We don't have these aren't marked. Something happened to these. So we got to look at a map here. So Cowlitz is an AI capital. I wonder what happened to this thing. Let's rerun it and see what goes on. Yeah, I had a friend who was really into motorcycles just in general, and he was always crashing though. And that I have like now I'm too old to fall over on a motorcycle and hurt myself. Okay, so that worked. The problem was they weren't getting all of their population that they should. So that was the problem. This is the simplest fix. What is the other capital? So this is Tillamook is a AI capital. And then Umatilla is an AI capital. I wonder how these got set back. When you're tired at 60, bought a motorcycle, I kind of want to get, like, if I was to buy a car, I would probably want to get like a Mad Max car. Oh, but did he like something like this? Like, not obviously the same type of car because that would cost you an arm and a leg, but like a muscle car. Yeah. Not like that. But yeah, it's some Mad Max-esque car. If I was to buy a car, that's what I would do. Yeah, my friend who my friend who was the motorcycle guy, he often wore leather pants, you know, because he would fall just in case he fell down, right? It's like a motorcycle thing. And this is unrelated, but so in my band, the person who owns these drums that are behind me, wherever they are, they're behind me. You guys can't see them. Here, there we go. Is a lesbian, and she one day he wore his leather pants to band practice, and she was like, I don't know, it's kind of this. Your leather pants are kind of doing something for me, and so you know, leather pants, I guess, are like a sexy thing. 5 years, I mean, that's pretty good. I think we can get rid of this thing here too. I did not test what I was just going to test though. 21. Let's make sure that these ones are not getting 21. Perfect. All right, so that one's fixed too. We're knocking out all sorts of shit. I wonder how that got reset. Right? Hallucinating the drums. All right, let's go to the next one. We're suddenly just knocking out all sorts of shit. Saving things when moving. I don't want to do that. Change check if player faction to check against. I don't want to do that because we don't know if we're going to do that. War changes something if the faction is at war with the current hero's location faction. Line 50. Okay, so we got it. There's a thing. These are related. We're going to put this like this. Okay, so we actually already did this too. So we can close that. Load all data for main from disk first thing immediately. We already did that. What the fuck, man? We're not doing this anymore. In main, create faction nodes. What? Get rid of the faction nodes. Okay, we already did that. This also means we don't need the faction script at all anymore. Well, let's delete it. What's in here? All right, let's delete it. Let's delete the faction node. Close. This is the catastrophic issue that you can implode all of your resources. if you open that thing. Let's make sure. I don't like that that thing flashed up. I think that was just the thing running in the background. All right, let's see what we're using. Okay, so we still had this in use somewhere. We need to fix this. So faction, we're getting the faction data. I'm gonna move my chair, so I have to find my cord. So faction data, get. Okay, so what we can do is we can go faction data. Faction data equals faction data auto load instance. Actually, I think this is in the save manager. Save game. Whoops. All, and then we put faction ID. I don't know if we need to cast this, but we'll know in a second. We do not need to cast this. Conflict below. Oh, we must be calling it. Okay, what are we calling this? What is this one different? Isn't this the same? Where are we getting this faction ID from? We're just pulling this out of our ass. Where are we getting this faction ID from? It's not complaining about it. Research item data. Research. Are we setting like in ready? Where's ready? I guess we don't have it ready. Oh, we might be able to do this. Oh, no, we can't because we have a texture in there. I was thinking the reflection thing. Oh, it's at the very top. So we must be assigning a faction ID at some point to this. Okay, so where was this thing? We don't need this one because this one we're just assigning at the top. We don't need it twice. If faction ID equals player faction, we put something in the log. County improvement data's dot length is greater than 0, then we do this stuff. All right, what was that other error? Was it the same thing? Yeah, it was. Make sure it's saved. When did this start doing this? I feel like it just did it. Maybe it's because I updated to beta 7. We have one error. Where? Missing class qualified name for reloading script. What does that mean? I bet you it's because we deleted that one thing. Let's close Godot and reopen it. Sometimes that happens. It gets very upset about certain things. I'm surprised that they haven't worked on that bug where if you get that bug where it says it can't load things and you try to reconnect a dependency that doesn't exist, it can implode all of your resources. It seems like that should be a main thing to look at. Yeah, it's gone. It probably had something in memory somewhere. It just needed to be whatevered. What the fuck am I doing? We fixed that. We were working on it also. Okay, so we were just deleting this shit. It seems to be fine. We'll get rid of it. I now, you know, when people like data mine video games and they come back with like all sorts of stuff that is not in the finished product, I can now understand how that happens. Where you think, oh, I don't need that, but I might need it later, so you leave it sitting in there, and then even later you don't need it, and then it just goes out, and you got 50 gigs of images that you never used. All right, we've closed so many issues. Look at this one. We're not going to do that one. All right, so let's do this war thing. I mentioned earlier, I was like, we're going to do some war stuff eventually. All right, so we got rid of making them screenshots folder from snipping tool. I have a folder called atemp. It has the letter A at the beginning, so it's towards the top of the file explorer. And it's where I dump all my work stuff because I use my personal computer for work. And that thing fills up with all sorts of shit, but I just delete it every once in a while. Oh, I use the snipping tool thing because remember you were saying you can save it? It's not as good as Screenshot. You should try Screenshot. Somebody who insisted that they love the snipping tool. They didn't want to use Screenshot. And so I was like, well, let's see how the snipping tool works. So what we're talking about, let's see if we also, I feel like we should be getting bugs here. What we're talking about, if we go to here, we got rid of the check, or we didn't get rid of the check, but right now there's no way to make your guy an army dude. Yeah, an army dude. So there's no way to declare war. Oh, there's a bug. Given key was not in the location. Oh, we must not have. I had a feeling something like this would happen eventually. I wasn't sure what, but so this is because we're checking. We have a dictionary now of where the hero is, and I'm betting that this is getting the wrong dictionary. It needs to check a different list if they're visiting a different dictionary, and I don't know how we have that. There's going to be a lot of bugs like this where things have broken because we did some major changes. That's why I don't want to push this to main just yet. Soon, I want to push it to main, but not just yet. Okay, so where is this? This is under token movement. The little dancing alligator. Does that come across in my other chat? On my screen. I think he's a dancing alligator. Yeah, that guy. He does come across. What am I doing? Token movement. I guess I could just click on this, right? No. So either it's too clicky or not clicky enough. There we go. Jump to this line. Check for defenders. All right, this is not what I expected because we have to rewrite all this stuff. Why would it be checking for defenders if we're not at war? Let's restart this and watch more carefully of when this bug pops up. I guess we could have put a breakpoint in there. And we actually... Let's do this as well. This will actually be a good test. Yeah, this will be a good test that it is loading correctly, too. Because it's supposed to load whenever this scene runs, it loads from disk. Every time. You don't have a choice. And so we'll see if it is loading correctly. Yeah, and I think we should have probably tested this back. We tested it a different way a couple of times, but... Okay, so this, we have no bug there. We right click here. It isn't happening yet. Not yet. So it's when I right click here. Yeah, so when I'm trying to go back. Hey, well, in this, you have no choice. That's just how it is. So why is it checking for defenders at all? It shouldn't check for defenders at all at this point. So we got to do a couple of things. We're going to put... Let's put it... Let's see. We're kind of skipping to this diplomacy thing and then going back to here. So let's put this diplomacy, because this is diplomacy. Let's put this, because we're gonna have to set up a diplomacy panel, like a whole thing here, and then we'll put this right here, and then because this is what, yeah, I don't know why it's checking that. I was assuming it was checking something else. If the faction data, hero faction data, faction. So we have the hero's faction data, and we're checking if they're at war, I think, actually. And the problem is that it doesn't know who this is. Where is it firing off this air? I mean, it gets to here, but I bet you, let's just breakpoint this shit, right? Yeah, there used to be, so it used to be if you had an army leader and you went into a, so you could, there was an aide and an army leader, and it's still kind of half-assedly doing that. And if you're an army leader, it would, if you went into another province, you automatically basically fired off a thing asking if the player wanted to declare war, but we're not going to do it that way anymore. These are things that we don't need in here. Okay, so it checks this when we're going into that other thing, even when we're just an aide. So there's something that's fine. Yeah, go over there, and then when we go back, we should hit this, and then we should be able to see like what we are actually getting something here. So we have a county. Portland. So that's right, because we're trying to go into Portland. What the fuck is this? This is the factions, the shipbirds, that's right. Selected. So the hero faction, I don't even know if we want to try to fix this bug or if we just want to rewrite what we got to rewrite. And then this one is the shipbirds as well. And so what is this thing even checking? If the faction... Oh, it's checking against itself. Is that how this used to work? The shitty birds? No, it's a totally different thing. Let's not fix this right now because we gotta do something else. Okay, so let's do that something else first. This is gonna be kind of a involved process. I don't think we're gonna finish in an hour and a half, but that's okay. What we can do though, so we can run our tests. Let's not even worry about that yet. All right, let's go to main. Well, let's run this and take a look where we're going to put this diplomacy panel. We need another panel that's a faction panel too, so we might as well throw that, a button for that on here. Click over here, faction, diplomacy, research. I played this other game recently. What's it called? Wizard Warfare 2. I played it a ton. How many hours? Okay, I played it for 8.5 hours. I got 33 achievements. Yeah, there is hexes. It's like a mix between Civ and Dominions. And you got a bunch of spells and stuff and buildings you can build. But I think who I can't remember, but it doesn't have any soul. So Dominions has like this like level of soul where you can and it's unbalanced, like the factions aren't balanced, and sometimes you play a faction that's like really extremely hard, and then there's another faction that's extremely easy, but they all have flavor and stuff. None of the factions have any feel that are different. They're all pretty much the same. This is like combat, it's an auto battler just like Dominions. I actually never gotten into any ship combat in it because it seemed pointless. The ship combat seemed pointless. Like I was just walk around everything because you're gonna want to take every little city anyways. So the game is actually pretty good, but so like here's just like Dominions. There's a list of spells and what you're summoning and stuff. It just has positive. So the reason I think it's just positive is because, each group needs to have, each faction needs to have their own identity. They need to have their own buildings, especially the buildings. The buildings make no sense. And it's also, I stopped reading the description on the buildings after a while. I would just be like, okay, this is next, just fucking build it. So your choices are kind of pointless. You just build the next building. You just build, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just build all that shit. And like at the very end where I was like hemorrhaging money, my faction was hemorrhaging money. I deleted some buildings. Who cares? It was, and I had so much money built up at that point, it didn't matter. Because I can hemorrhage money for a long time, but I was like, I guess I'll just delete some of these buildings because I had researched all the magic too. All the magic was research. Anyways, the point is that I worry that could happen with my game, where you put so much effort and time into it, and then it's just kind of like it's good-ish. It's just kind of meh. And I think that if the guy embraced what he was working on more than, I think he's trying to make it balanced. I think that's the thing that he's doing, and you just gotta embrace the crazy with that shit. And that's what Dominions did, is they embraced the crazy. So anyways, back to this. I think that game could be amazing. Like literally, if slow down the research by a ton, because you should never be able to fin. I was trying to think. I don't think I've ever finished all of the research in Dominions. You should, and so it's because then it doesn't matter because everyone has all their research. And then the choices don't matter because you're going to get all the research. And really, really just go into the craziness of the different factions. And like there's different factions you can fight, like orcs and stuff. Um, Dominions is this crazy game that I've been playing for since I was 20. I think I started on Dominions too, but this is the newest one. So, Crystal, you were talking about game development and like making money or whatever from it. This is like a cult classic. I don't even think it's a cult classic anymore, but there's two ideas behind game development for indie games. One is you charge a buttload for it because you don't know, because you know you're not going to sell that many. And then you say, fuck the people who can't afford it. And then the other one is you make it really cheap and you try to sell as many as you want. Dominions goes with we're going to charge you $50 for this. Well, it's $40 for this game. And they release a new version every, whatever, 8 years or something. And it's just slightly better, but it's another $50-$40. So it's basically, it's one of the inspirations for my game. It's fucking insane, dude. There's tons of little like factions. It's like a beloved game. There's multiplayer, so people play it online. They're crazy. The online people are insane. You make like a god, and the god has all these effects on your nation. I've spent, I don't know how many hours have I spent on Dominions just with this. Yeah, same dev, same two people. It's a guy and his brother. I only have 100 hours in this one. Well, you could make it. I bet you there's an alligator god. I bet you there's an alligator god. Sobek? I was like gonna go to my desktop for the shortcut. I'm gonna look right now. It's really lightweight, so normally I never do this when I'm streaming. Oh, you guys can't see it. There we go. Normally I never do this when I'm streaming because you I'm gonna get copyright complaint for the music. Continue old game. No, I want to create a god. I haven't played this in a long time. Sure. Whatever. There's different ages. You can like multiplayer where one of the people is like a. Okay, here's the gods. So you can pick all these different gods. Where's my alligator god? I didn't pick the people that would have an alligator god, though. Maybe some snakes and stuff. Yeah, can you guys hear that? Oh, you guys can't hear that music. All right, good. Wonder if the people, there's these like lizard people. Get me out of here. I want to go back. I don't think I can go back. Yes. Okay, whatever. So I wonder if they've like done a major rewrite or if they've continued the old code. Yes. Whatever again. Middle Ages. I think those guys are early ages, actually, the lizard people. The alligator people were human. And no, I don't want to be you. No, Jesus Christ. Well, whatever. We could look it up online. Let me out of here. I picked the same people. Or something. I picked something. It's been a long time since I've played. Quit with that saving. Quit. So yesterday, at the end of my stream, I showed that Gilded Destiny game, and YouTube made that 30 seconds that I showed that as my thumbnail, which I was upset about. Dominions 6 gods. Pretender gods. I want to see a picture of them all. That's not all of them. Yeah, we were talking about wikis too. Like somebody's got to update this. I know the developers. Yeah, I picked 6 because it's the newest one. I don't have 6. I don't want to pay again for the same game. And it's just and yeah. I guess there isn't a list. Maybe this one is maintained by. Oh, it is. Illwinter is the name of the. Huh. Yep. Oh well. Okay, let's back to my game. Yeah, so those guys, I don't think they make that much money, honestly. But re-releasing, I think that they should just do DLC from the first one. Because the changes feel like DLC. War changes something like if... Okay, yeah, we're back to this faction thing. Let's go. Since I was, we're going to put these buttons in on the top bar. And I don't think we got any errors besides the expected ones. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do some translations here. So we need to find the research. See if we have an H box or whatever's in there. Time in research. We have a research button. And then we're gonna put this down here. We're gonna rename this to faction button, and we're gonna go rename this to diplomacy. Diplomacy. Yeah, there's no diplomacy in Dominions, which is interesting that they went with that. We're gonna need to bring up the localization. Okay, that doesn't do me any good. All right, we gotta open it from over here. And that's one of my complaints about that's one of my complaints about modern strategy games is the diplomacy is pretty weak in all modern strategy games. Just about. I'm trying to think of one. I played some Victoria 3 last night. I actually played it for quite a while. And I noticed they added some like different types of treaties and stuff. I think we're going to do word. What did I do? Word research? Yeah, we'll do word diplomacy. And then we'll do word. Do we have faction already on here? We might. Nope. Word faction. I should play more Power Rangers. What? Is that a game? Is that a thing? Diplomacy. Faction. I thought that was like a not a cartoon, but a kids TV show that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so we have this. Let's put this. Diplomacy. Oh, activity research. That is right. I wonder why. I wonder if we should get rid of word. Oh yeah. So we had this. This is in here to remind me to update those spots. So if I see this, I need to update that. I totally forgot about that. I'm glad that I reminded myself. Whoops. Faction. Right, exactly. Occasionally it works well with it knows that there's a problem. Okay. So now we have these buttons. Let's rerun it and see how it looks. I think it should fit fine. They're not translated because we have to re-import this thing. And I think that's probably fine. Faction, diplomacy, research. Yeah, I think that will work. It actually fills up this bar kind of nicely, too. Unless we, make it bigger. Yeah, that's not that bad either. I expected it to be much worse. Okay, so then we need to make these things do something. Where do we got a script? This is all crammed into this thing? It sure is. Top bar control has everything crammed in here. We're not going to use signals. Oh, look. We have create signals for time buttons. We're not going to use the manual signals. We're going to code the signals in. We don't do those other signals anymore. Create. I think I want connect. I think connect signals is better for diplomacy and faction buttons. That's a beauty. Look at that method name. I feel like I'm back to my roots. All right. Back to my roots. All right. So we need to put these buttons in here though. Look at these export groups I have. Where's my research button? Where's my research button? The word research is not used here. Do we have another script for that? I didn't think I saw one, but maybe I wasn't looking carefully enough. Where's this signal? Oh, right, we have these other signals that are going to be connected. We'll disconnect those in a second here. Research control. We link that over to there? I mean, we could do that. I mean, that's fine, I guess, right? Oh, look, I have an event or some shit too. This has been a long time since I've looked at this. Where is this reason? Okay, here's a packed scene. Research item button. That's different. Assign. What's going on? What's going on here? Did we get bugs? We didn't get bugs. How does this work? No, we need the button. The button has to be in there unless we're getting child, but I usually don't do that. That's oh look, and then when it's visible, we invoke this event. It's called research visible. Wonder why we did all that. I liked events for a while, then I kind of lost interest in them. Where the fuck is this button? Button. Research item button. That's a different button. Assigned researcher button. That's a different button. That's a different button. Bumblebee, how's it going? Long time no talk. Let's look at this thing again. Where the hell did I stick this thing? Show research panel. Well, where the fuck is that? Show research panel. Research control. But what runs this thing? Okay, so that button, okay, right. But I guess we don't need the button if there's a signal there. Let's get rid of that. Let's make it like how we do it. We can put a script instead of sticking. This is some really old code. Again, we've actually been hitting a lot of their old code lately. We could put a script right here and it would deal with these ones. Instead of having this, how big is this? Is this turned into a monstrosity? I feel like this is a monstrosity at this point. We are going to come back to that. We're probably not going to look at that today. I think we're probably done with that. I can't believe how many issues we closed today. Control end. Control end. It's not really a monstrosity. We can just slam it all into here. Let's change. Yeah, let's just do it through here. I think it'll be easier to find later. If we just put it all in there. So let's disconnect these buttons. Wonder why I did it that way. I wonder if I was experimenting or what the deal was. Let's rename this thing. Taking a pause from Twitch, yeah, I understand that. It sometimes it can be shitty. Also, like sometimes I want a scripted show. I get bored easily though. Something changed where I get bored very easily with shows. So this is gonna be time. This is gonna be faction, diplomacy, research, time, buttons, H box. Oh, look, there's a signal on here. The fuck does it do? Oh, it just has the on mouse. Okay, yeah. So then let's disconnect all of these guys. I mean, this one never existed anyways. But let's also disconnect to this. We're gonna break something here, but it just has to happen. And then we'll. Man, I haven't heard this song in so long. You guys can't hear it, but. That too. There is a lot going on. You know, I look at Reddit a lot, and sometimes I don't know why. I mean, a lot of times I don't know why because it's just like the same shit over and over again, and it's none of it's very useful. All right, so we're gonna connect these. We'll put the buttons in here. I think that's the better. We'll do a new export group. Though, no, I guess we do. Faction, diplomacy, and research buttons. And we could copy this thing. Yeah, you know, it was interesting. This is back to the experiment thing. Is I like to like, especially with like learning with Godot and stuff is, and I was saying this the other day too, like I'll be like, I wonder if I can do this, which is, you know, and it will be something. So I'll look up a tutorial or whatever of how to do something, and I'll be like, okay, this is the way you do it. But then I'll say to myself, I wonder if I can do it this way, even though that's probably wrong. And then I'll try to do it that way just to see if I can. And sometimes, like I'll be like, oh, now I understand why you don't do it this way. Or I'll be like, oh, wait, this works and it seems to work better. Wonder why. And I can't figure out why they wouldn't do it the way that I did it. And then like way down the road, I run into why they wouldn't do it that way. Or I go, okay, well, there is a reason, like a workaround, and I feel like that kind of experimentation is more needed. It's like a waste of your time, obviously, because you could be doing other things. You could, but I still feel like you're learning, you motherfucker. You see that? You guys see that? Right there, right in front of my face, it did it to me. Right in front of my face. Anyways, that's what he was talking about there. YouTube, the biggest problem I find with YouTube is that when you watch a video that you generally don't watch, like that type of video, it suddenly suggests just that type. And I wish it would be more open-minded. Yeah, exactly. And there was some stuff that I do that all the time with my like vehicle game that I've never streamed. I'll like do something crazy and I'm like, oh wait, that also explains how this other thing works. I'll do something crazy and it won't work, but I'll be like, explains how this other thing works and I can make that other thing better with this broken thing that I just learned, not the same way or whatever. But yeah, I feel like I think it's the sci-fi book Foundation, that series that they like Apple TV or whatever. I think in that series, at the beginning of that series, Harry Sheldon or whatever his name is, Harry Sheridan, I don't remember what his name is, talks about research, just in general, where people no longer actually do any research in the far future. This is sci-fi. And what they do is they just read other people's research from the past and then come up with their own take on this. And then someone who reads their research and comes up with their own take, but nobody actually does any research. Like no one goes back to the original, ruins and does any research. And I kind of feel like that happens with everything. Okay. Like we don't try new things. I don't know. I think Joker sent me that video about Rust, and that gave me the same, like the person. So he sent me this video about Rust where a guy was just gonna check it out, and it was kind of the same feeling where this guy, but he was doing the research on his own. He just wanted to try and learn and see what it was about instead of just taking everyone else's word for it. That's not what I wanted. Get out of here. Pressed plus equals open. Let's do show faction panel. And then pressed plus equals show diplomacy panel. The diplomacy panel is going to be pretty weak right now, but where the plan is to really improve that. Show research panel. Okay. Is this going to do that weird thing it did yesterday? No. Yesterday it did this weird thing where it like had some equals value equals. Get out of here. What are we doing over there? The game Rust 2. Forest Knight. Yeah, and the deepening, exactly, and it does. It's weird because I am training this assistant person, like a part-time assistant for me at work, and a lot of times they're like, what do I do next? And I'm like, I don't know, I've never done this, just start clicking shit. she'll be like, is it gonna break? I don't know, I hope not, just start clicking stuff, we'll figure it out. I gotta learn she's gotta learn the just start clicking shit. She is around. They keep changing her responsibilities. I feel bad for her. Sorry, I'm going back and seeing if I missed any messages. Is Forrest Knight the name of that guy that was doing the Rust video? Joker. Yeah, so they keep changing her responsibilities, and I don't know what to do. Like one day they say, "Oh yeah, you have her as much as you need," and the next day they say, "You use her too much. Stop calling her. Stop using up her time." So, let's build this real quick and move these into their spots because I'm gonna forget. I've never played the video game Rust. I know it was a big deal for a long time. I don't know if it still is. I feel like it's been around for years and years. Faction button, and you go. Diplomacy button, and you go. Research button, and you go. All right, then let's go back to this. We're going to link this to that weird way I was doing. I don't know what I was... This is show. We're just going to like kind of cram this in here. I'll make this public. And I hope and assume that I have a instance of that. Control.instance.show. And we'll just do that. This is not the way we're going to do this. We'll just, whatever. We have a bunch of shit connected to that. 10 years? Yeah, it's... yeah. You tried to find a game that was before Rust and building with stability of parts. What do you mean? Oh, like the origin of where Rust came from. Because Rust, you like have base building. I think we can actually close this save game thing for now. Probably this one too. Token movement we got to come back to. Yeah, because you like build bases and then you make guns and you go shoot people and take their base, I think, is the basics. We don't have a panel yet for diplomacy, and we don't have a faction panel, so let's put those in place. Oh, do walls collapse in Rust? That's pretty rare. That's extremely rare, I feel like. Oh shit, it's already been an hour. I'm gonna take a quick break. What we'll do is we'll do a whole... So both for diplomacy and faction, we're gonna put a whole new control in. I'm looking at how I did it before. It looks like I did it two different ways, and I think the reason I did that is because originally I didn't know that a panel container had a control built into it, and so this one probably has a panel, or it has a margin container. All right, whatever. Oh, right, because it needs a margin. What is an example? This one has a margin container built into it too. What about this? Goods. It has a VBox. Does goods completely cover up everything? I bet you it does. It does. So there are two different... It looks like there's two different things I'm going for here. One that doesn't cover this up, and then another one that does. Yeah, so like county improvements covers this up, but then like this doesn't cover it up. And I think we didn't want to cover that up. Does it have content? It has a margin container inside. I think we didn't want to cover this up because when you like hire an aide, you want to see how much money and shit you have. You can't click on this stuff. There's a blocker panel over it. But you know, it's weird is a lot of times I've noticed on certain ones where you can see this, I try to start the game, like continue by clicking these. There's some like I think that you can click this because you can see it. We're gonna have to fix a lot of this, like during the beautification process. Probably we're gonna want to. You know, we could hide this H box and have it. All right, don't get sidetracked, Josh. All right, I'm gonna go take a quick break though. And I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. There's my break timer, and there's my music you guys can hear. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So yesterday I was running low on cat food, so I started rationing my cat food. for the cat. And he was like really, really wanting some food, but I wanted him to have enough food for this morning. And this morning he didn't show up. So I think he was like, fuck you. You're not going to feed me whenever I want, then I'll go somewhere else. Which actually, what the fuck is this music? So actually it worked out because I'm going to get groceries today. Oh yeah, diplomacy panels. So yeah, it looks like we're covering some of. I know I did a theme. Looking for this margin thing that Joker was talking about. Oh look, it has localization of numeral system. Oh man, I think I should probably do a copy of one of these and just delete everything underneath it. Because it looks like there's a kind of a significant number of weird things that I've done to these. We'll attach a script to them. Oh, I do have a theme on here. I thought I got rid of the themes. Okay, so that's probably the, yeah, we'll make a copy, we'll duplicate, and we'll duplicate, and we will delete. We're getting a bunch of bugs. So where is this going to go? Research control. Is this still running? It is. Research covers the whole thing up. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll copy the research control, actually. We'll delete this one. We'll delete this one. We'll copy this one. And we'll copy this one. There we go. And we'll put in, this will go above this, and this will go above that. And we'll say faction control. Faction control. And this one will be diplomacy. The faction control we're not going to really do anything with right now, but we are going to have a huge amount of like laws and things that are going to be in there eventually. I wonder why we have a margin container when this thing is... Oh, I stopped it. Son of a bitch. We're going to get some bugs here, I think. Because I still got scripts attached and all sorts of shit. Oh, for research, we don't cover up. Maybe we don't want to. Maybe we're in diplomacy and... Yeah, all right, we'll just go with whatever. You still like Godot? What would you do? What were you thinking we were going to ditch it for? Are you still streaming every once in a while? Because I remember you used to. This worked. I still like it too. There's a few things, you know, that I bitch about. I'm not actually, most of the time when I'm bitching about stuff though, I'm not actually that upset about it. Let's keep this margin container. I like to rant and rave, you know. Faction margin container. We'll keep this. And this should just be blank is what we'll do. In fact, you know what we'll do? Is we will, underneath here, maybe we'll leave that and connect it so that we can close it. But all these should be hidden now. What type of material from it? Do you get feedback on your YouTube videos? I used to every once in a blue moon, but I haven't in a long time. Oh, yeah. You know, I think some stuff definitely is amateurish, but I feel like it's I didn't connect the signal yet. Let's do this with diplomacy then again, or as well. I think that it's each iteration is progressively better, obviously. And once again, I know I always say this, but the more people that use it, I feel like the better it gets. And if we could just get another, if if we can get another thing where like Unity fucks up, that would be really nice. Let's remove this one. Let's remove this one. These signals are not what I thought. You know, I've messed around with the networking too, and I thought it, not a lot, but I thought it seemed pretty good. A couple of other people I've talked to wrote their own networking stuff, and I thought that was crazy because it's so much extra work. But yeah, if Unity had like another implosion, it would be nice to. Oh, we're gonna need these controls in here too. Is that the way I? Well, okay. So I wonder if we should do it like I did this research control, where we have it connect to the research control script. Is that the way I did it with like this one? And on visibility change, what does this signal say? No, it's just visibility change. I don't know why they were doing it. So there's this like kind of backlash that I've noticed against the C# part of Godot, which I half understand, but there's kind of this backlash where like, oh, don't use anything except for the bare minimum of Godot stuff with C# because you're going to be fucked anyways in the long run. And some of the stuff I have run into, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had done this the C# way. But I also, back to the experimentation thing, I want to experiment with the, like, I really want to experiment with using the Godot stuff, and then if it doesn't work, I can always switch over. But, you know, definitely the networking stuff. I think they just feel like it's going to be amateurish. RimWorld is Unity? I didn't know that. Tarkov I definitely knew, and you can tell with Tarkov. Oh my god, dude. It's got some problems. So I guess we're just going to call this faction control and diplomacy control. Are these as in the UI? So we can just add a script here. Diplomacy control, and then we'll do another one, faction control, and then we will link these things. Allocating programmers for a company, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. I back to the assistant thing. I feel like I work for like a mom and pop place though, so it's not like a corporation. But I feel like did I put this in the right thing? Yes. I feel like there's going to be a lot of difficulty with how. So the big thing is that they don't want to include the person with their decisions. So basically, they want to say this is what this is the amount of time this person has to do stuff, but they don't want to ask the person, is this really the amount of time it takes to do stuff? And I think that's a huge issue at my work where they just assume. So, and this person is like an assistant to 3 different people. So like if you were trying to, at my job, if you were trying to allocate a programmer, They would have like 6 different bosses, and every boss would be saying how much time they spend, not asking them. And I think that's a huge problem with this assistant thing that I'm running into. And so I tried to include her in this giant meeting we had, and they said, no, don't do it. Give her a job in security like she was going to get fired. And I was like, no, we need to know how much time she spends for each boss. You know what I mean? And well, we know how much time she spent. No, you don't. You don't know shit. And I think she spends the most time with me because I monopolize her time. And they said I could, so I just like on Friday. Good God, I was on the phone with her all day long. She probably hates my guts now. Fuck that guy. He called me 37 times. Actually, they said from 3 to 11, or from 8 in the morning to 11, I could train her, but then I could use her for actual things for the rest of the day, if needed. And if needed meant all day. She was probably, I feel so bad for her. And I don't, once again, like, I was like, just include her in the fucking conversation, man. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So when you like look at the logs, you don't talk to the people, or you don't. That isn't your primary. So how does that work? Um, what do you get? Because I've only worked like with Git like with one other person, and he was much more experienced with it. So I just, when I did my every once in a blue moon push, he had to accept the thing. What do you get out of the Git logs when there's a bunch of people? Like, what do the logs tell you? What is the information you're gathering? I want these errors to go away. I know they don't mean anything, but I want them to go away. All right, so we're going to go from top bar. We're going to need to we're going to do the same weird way we just did it. I actually I think I remember why it was that way. Because everyone was telling me you needed to make it a scene at the beginning. And I didn't want to do that, and I don't agree with it. So we're going to need a public, static, diplomacy control. Yep, that's what we want. And then we're going to need a public override ready. And yep. And then on the faction, we can close this stuff for now. I don't think we're going to get back to it. Not today. Probably not a token. Yeah, probably none of this stuff right now. This one we might keep around just as a reference. Where's our other one? We don't need this one. I guess I didn't open that one yet. Faction control. Google crash dumps for like Chrome? Like what Google program are you using? Man. Mostly for that type of stuff, I'm just looking at like SharePoint. Oh, Unity. I look at like SharePoint logs sometimes. I don't look at logs as much as I used to. Man, back when I first started, I was looking at logs all the time to try to figure shit out. Now most of this stuff has reports that you run, that are not, I mean, they're basically logs, but they have like better information than a just standard like log of gibberish that you have to sort through. Oh, look at this one. It suggested it differently. Huh. Give me the thing. I wonder why. Static instance. They're the same. Is this a node? These aren't nodes. This is a control. This is a control as well. And public override ready, and instance this. Yeah, they do the stand-ups at my work for each department, and they did it for a while for every day, and then they went to a weekly thing because it was too much of a time suck. There's, there's always that person who wants to just like discuss every little piece of minutia, um, and makes every meeting 4 hours long. Just have managers like read it. Oh man, I was invited to this one department. Yeah, noise people. Yeah, I was invited to this one department meeting because we were rolling out an IT thing. I can't remember what it was, but it was somewhat impactful for their jobs. And they're like, "Can you explain to the people what is going to happen?" And so I joined the meeting, and the manager of the department explained it in her words, and then she's like, "I'm going to turn this over to Josh to um, explain it more in detail." And that little break allowed everyone to express their everyone was raising their hand, but I don't want to do that. And it was like 30 minutes to finally get to me where I'm explaining it, and then I started, and everyone's complaining and everything. And I explain how it works and what they're gonna have to do, and they need to be prepared for this by, it was like a Monday, like next Monday is when this goes live. And they were like, "Oh no, we can't do that, and we don't have time. We don't." And the manager was like, "You're right. We'll do it in a month, and we'll push back the start date for a month." And then people were still raising their hands, and there was this one lady, the noise person. Everything she could think of, she was raising her hand and just going on and on and on and on and on. And it was supposed to be like a 30-minute meeting, and it was like 2 hours long of people bitching and moaning. And towards the end, I was like, "Yeah, those are all valid concerns, but it's still happening on Monday." So I'm just here to tell you that this is the workaround or this is what you need to do, and you need to prepare by next Monday. And they were just like, and the department manager came to me afterwards, and she's like, we generally let the department people have more of input. I know this is like the opposite of what I was saying earlier. More input, and we give them more time and stuff. And I was like, giving them more time won't do any good because they won't do anything until it's until the last second anyways. Yeah, no, she would have never ran out of she would have never ran out of steam if I would have yeah, that she was renowned in the department for being upset all the time. They wanted to move her desk. They rearranged the whole department, so everyone basically moved desks. And once again, it's back to the deadline thing. They said, "You need to have your desks ready to be moved. And they were responsible for moving all their stuff, computers and whatnot too. And I would be there to help them reconnect their computers if they had issues. And she just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because she didn't want to move. And she thought if she just kept putting it off, eventually they would just be like, "Okay, you can stay there." But instead, one morning we came in early and we just moved all of her stuff for her, and she flipped the fuck out. She was crying and screaming. And it was totally insane. And I was like, "Fire her." Fire her now. But no, they didn't. She eventually resigned and thought the world would end for us if she resigned, but it did not. Yeah, she flipped out. She was screaming at the dude who was helping me, like a maintenance guy was helping me move the stuff. Just and she was like, "Well, no, I was going to do it. I was going to do it." And we were like, "No, the time has come and passed." Yeah. So she was renowned for stuff like that. All right, we need to build this. No, we don't. We need to put into here. We need to go diplomacy, control. We're going to do that same weird thing. Actually, we can just do that. Why don't we just do that? We don't even need that weird thing. We can just do that. I bet you I didn't know that I could do that when I wrote that other code. I bet you. What am I doing? Faction. I bet you I didn't know I could do that for this other one. Yeah, let's just do this. Fuck it. That's all it does anyways. And then on visibility change, we have all this stuff happen. Where did this thing go? Show. Oh, it also pauses it. No, it doesn't pause it. It turns off their controls. I wonder why I have it here instead of in visibility change. Let's cut this. I have it here. I have it twice. Man. Huh. All right, well, we'll just take this out. Well, this isn't even going to be used anymore. Just get it out of here. It says there's a usage of it, though. I think it's one of those things. All right, we have the signals connected. All we want to do is test to make sure that they show. Yeah, so I know I'm bitching and moaning about my job, which is why I have to say this, but I actually really like my job, but it's... And most of those people have quit. Most of the people who are the noise people, but they're at least the ones I have to deal with. But yeah, they cut those stand-up meetings down to... All right, we got a nothing. Close button doesn't work. Perfect. We should probably make that close button work. We have to. It's linked to the research button. Is what it's. Uh-oh, we didn't hide that stuff. That's okay though. All right, so let's link these close buttons. We actually. What is this weirdness? Let's copy this over. We're gonna put the signal here too. We'll see what we're doing here. We'll do a diplomacy first. No, let's do it with a faction first. Okay, why was I doing this way? So we're checking on close button if the research description panel is visible, we hide it. Oh, am I using this close button for two different panels? I bet you I am. And one panel goes over the top of one. Yeah, you know, like Friday and Thursday was pretty crazy. Because I do need an assistant, but it doesn't sound, I'm not going to get one. Yeah, that's totally what I was doing. I had some panel on top, I bet you, because this is the description panel, not the research control. So we don't actually need this. We just need on close button. We'll close. We'll just hide. We'll hide. And then it seems like we probably need to turn the player controls back on. But what we can do, what is your problem? Oh, we don't have any namespaces in here. That would be the problem. And let's copy this and put this over here. And then we're going to put private on, you know, it was giving me shit once on faction control because I had so many things named visibility changed. So we're going to do it with they're all uniquely named. Oh, that's one thing. Do you know if Godot can tell you what element the mouse was released on? No, dude, I would be coding and making money off of it would be like streaming coding. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna look at Twitch real quick. It's gonna blast us. Well, you guys won't hear it. Let me mute this. In this category, can I click this category? I don't know. Software. and game development. Are there people who like have a bazillion? What is this? How is this sorted? Well, this Sunday morning, there's nobody has like a ton of. I think that it's very rare. You know, the pirate software guy, but he mostly plays video games, and he has a game out. Well, I'm kind of surprised how low the top viewership is. Yeah, that would be hard to make money. Yeah, he mostly just plays video games. You know, sometimes he changes one line of code. Do I know if Godot can tell what element the mouse was released on? That seems like a Joker question. Let me think about this. Because... So that actually is a thing that... So there's unhandled input, and then there's like handled input. Where's my player controls? That I actually have a note in that I wanted to look at this because I have a huge issue. Are you opening? Oh, that's at the scene. I have a huge issue that is like clicking through the UI elements. Wait, no, it has to know because I drag and drop UI elements later. How did I do the drag and drop thing? Now I'm thinking about this. So anyways, the long story short is I have to write all these things that the passing through the UI for certain things and hitting other things doesn't work how I would expect it to. So it's like a bunch of blind by so I do a drag and dropping of elements in this game. How am I doing the getting the element that you've clicked on is what I'm thinking. That's going to be under not combat, even though I do some menu game. Right? You have to have... I think it's this one. No. Equipment to player node? This is an amazing script. Maybe War Arc has it. Where's my drag and drop? On headquarters press. This, no, it's not here. Equipment data. This is one of my experiment games. This is a different part. Wonder what this is. Was going to be targeting, generating game. Here, this is what we'll do. Don't look at the game though. Yeah, Panzer. I saw that there's a new version of that. Oh, we're on the wrong thing. Don't look at this game. We need to run a different scene here. We need to run the menu game, and then we can look. In the wrong thing. Yeah, I played the shit out of that game when it first came out. It's hex based, you know, and it has all the. Man, I played that so much. I think it's this one. It's already open. It is this one. We need to get to a specific place, though. I don't think there's any bugs. Um, so on this one, you can drag and drop it. You got to put it in the right place. But so if we look in remote, what is the name of this shit? Why is this here? Standard, this is a scene. Oh, is it attached to that? I do not remember at all. This is part of the problem with like not coming back to a game. Okay, so on this one, so this is under what scene are we on here? Because this is main game, generate game, equipment to player node. I wonder what this was planning to be. We go to a different scene after this. Then go to menu. We go to combat, vehicle inventory, maybe? I can't remember. War Arc. No, that's a different thing. Vehicle inventory right controls. No, I came up with this idea. It kind of works. I attach this to because every vehicle is different. It's like MechWarrior. And I attach this right control to every vehicle data because a human has to design that. It kind of sucks. Honestly, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Maybe in the equipment button, it has something about clicking. So that's that's how I'm doing it. So I have like a signal on the button, and it gets so when it's pressed, it gets the position and all that. So it's not that it knows which one you've clicked through to. It just knows that if you're clicked on this one, yeah, that's how I did it. So this is a button. This thing that you're dragging around is a button. And so this is because it knows it's pressed with a signal. So it's not like actually it doesn't actually it doesn't know what it's being clicked through. It doesn't know what it's not looking. So yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I bet you Joker would know though. If it does, it seems like it should, right? It should give you back the if visible false, else true. We need a pause time too. But yeah, it definitely seems like it should tell you, but maybe that's what that unhandled, so back to the unhandled thing. So I have this input thing in here, and somewhere something, I noticed that it had, so this input is picking up too much shit and it's clicking when I click through stuff. I guess you can set the unhandled input and it does it a different way, where if nothing else has impacted the input, you can use the unhandled input to get, and I think that's what I should have been doing in the beginning with 2D4X. This doesn't work. I should have been using the unhandled input and just have it like basically nothing handle it instead of writing all these things that are blocking it. But it seems like the event should return. Did you ask ChatGPT? Oh man, time's flying. We got so many things off the list. I'm shocked. We're getting really close to pushing a main. Okay, so we're gonna need this. What's your problem? Private void. Why? Oh, do I have a typo in here? Visible. How the fuck do you spell visibility? Visibility. There we go. I just gotta type it. All right. I'm listening to some French song. Not the Smiths. Come on. We gotta pause the game, which is what I was gonna copy over from. We don't need the controls. Which is up here. So we're gonna pause, and when did this unpause? That makes sense. Unpause. All right, so this is all we need right now, except we need to connect the signal from Chatterbox for voiceovers or content. What do you mean? What is Chatterbox? Did you mention this before? Did you mention this before? That sounds like something somebody mentioned. Language training? Open source to speech model? Are you talking about like where people can type in something in chat and then it appears, then it does the voiceover or the voice for so the old school way I would have done this is I would have connected this closed signal right here. I was thinking about connecting it in this top bar where we connect these other signals. Each one. You know, I'm never unsubscribing from these things. I wonder if that's a huge issue. I bet you it's a bad thing. Let's connect this. Let's make this private. Since I no longer use the connections really on the other thing. Connect signals. Connect signals. And then... Oh, but we need to put the close button in there. Close button plus only on destructors. Probably I used to get an error where it used to say something about not a signal. On close button pressed. We got some changes to how this dot pressed. I know I don't have that yet, but we'll put it up here. Private export private button close button. Guess we can just put all this crap over here. Let's make this on close button pressed. We'll make this all identical. I feel like I could do this a different way to make it, whoops, not in ready. Do I experience performance issues? Or if you use injection and add a listener there, it should be easy to look for. Whenever we talk about performance issues, it always seems like we're talking about something else. I don't know. So that's not that's noticeable, except that there are a few things. So there is a crashing problem. So, and I've mentioned this crashing problem to other streamers too, who use C#. It hasn't crashed with the beta 7 yet. But the crashing problem, usually what happens is this screen crashes as I'm developing, as I'm working on it, and it goes away. But in reality, it crashes to the back of the back window, and it goes away from the taskbar too, but it's still sitting here in the back. And that definitely causes issues. That thing sitting in the back. And if you click on it, it finishes its crashing thing. And it goes away. That's the main performance issue that I've run into. Let's see, we can save this stuff. But no, I did get an error, like I was saying a while ago, that kind of went away on its own. Close this. We can close this. We can close this. We can build that. Let's go over to our buttons here. We're going to need to delete a lot of this stuff. I'm just leaving this here temporarily because I'm not sure what we're going to want to use. And it's all set up all special, so. For that crashing error, I'm not getting it, or that crashing, I am not getting any errors. And the other streamers that I talked to, they also were having similar issues. And so I thought it was a C# thing, because Joker was saying he never gets crashes. I think it gets to the point of a certain level of complication before the crashing starts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get like my OBS and stuff doesn't grind out like everything's in use. What are we doing here? Let's make sure research still works. Faction. Okay, those all work. Except I think we need to copy this over. And put this. Let's actually put this here. And then readjust. This should be called. And then we're going to connect another signal. What is it called? Visible. I need a light. Here we go. And then over here. The beloved lightning bolt. I don't remember, you know, I have all sorts of crazy shit going on. There's like a ton of crazy shit. You know, we tested. I did a stream where I tested like an AI agent to work on a game, and at first I was pretty impressed by how much it did. But once it got slightly complicated, it kind of fell apart, which I did not do on the stream because I didn't have time for I spent days working with it later, and it got really bad later. But one of the things that I had because one of the things it was kind of good at was refactoring all the code and moving everything into better like breakdowns and stuff. I thought about doing that with this code, but the problem is I think it would be even more difficult for me to find shit, because it would just like I know my own weirdnesses, you know what I mean? Like I can follow my own past logic. I wouldn't be able to do that if I wouldn't be able to do that if someone else if it rearranged everything. Oh yeah. Work done on my bathroom. It's a never ending. Everything that guy touched. Heavy issue finding nobody have stamina for looking at on stream. What do you mean? I think that was behind. I'm too far ahead of the thing. All right, let's see what this does. I don't know if it's paused. I guess we could unpause it and make sure. Yes, so that's all working. How much time do we got left? 4 minutes? Oh my God. When I was out smoking, Bumblebite, there was a video of a house somewhere in Scandinavia, or of a mudslide in Scandinavia, and a bunch of houses sliding into the ocean. I was wondering if that was anywhere near you. I don't know how old the video. That's the problem with Reddit, is you get these reposts that are. All right, let's push this code. That are 100 years old. Yeah, let's push this code. I cannot believe we got so many of those issues done. How many? Oh, it's these other ones. What did we do? Fixed and closed a few issues. I'm always feel like I should be putting in what this shit the actual issues I did. I don't give a fuck. And started work on the diplomacy and faction panels. Confirm and push. Yeah, there's this other site called Video Sift. I wonder if it's still up. I was thinking about that other day. And when I go there, hi everyone, been getting slammed by scraper bots for the last few weeks. We're giving Sift bot a breather and trying to regroup. It's a bummer. So this site's been up for 100 years. I used to go to like every single day. But it only allows you to post, so it's like Reddit, but you only can post videos, and you cannot do any reposts. So it's only new videos, and it used to have like a pretty active, and you could post, the same as Reddit, you would post comments on the videos. And it used to have a pretty active community, but over the years, the community has died off more and more because you can't repost videos, and so people want to, but anyways, I sometimes wish that Reddit had some sort of don't repost. You can't repost shit because it's just, you think you're seeing or reading a news article that's new. You're like, man, this sounds familiar, and it happened 10 years ago. And they're trying to pretend like it's new. You can't have normal kitchen islands. What do you mean? Why not? What's the problem with a kitchen island? That's like a mainstay in the United States. I have not lived in a house that had a kitchen island, but like a newer house would definitely have. Oh, my friend, he has a kitchen island. He's got all of his stuff. His refrigerator's really far from it all. It's actually about the same distance my refrigerator is from everything. I have like the old school refrigerator. All right, I don't think I'm going to raid anybody today. I may stream tomorrow. Depends. Tomorrow's Labor Day, so I have the day off. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Good to see you, Bumble. You need a sink and flow water on any stove. Oh, his stove's in his. Wait, his stove's on his kitchen. Wait, is it? No, his stove's behind it. So like if you're facing the sink is in the island. And the sink's like right here, and if you were to turn around, directly behind him is his stove and oven. And then there's also like a microwave, like to the left of his stove and oven. So basically, his kitchen island is just tons of counter space and a sink and stuff. So that part works probably pretty well. You're finished cleaning your pot, you can put it on the stove or whatever. And I think he has shit hung above it. Yeah, that's pretty common. I have like the hanging of things as well above my Though mine, I don't like that very much because like the food goes up on like the food fumes go on the stuff. Huh? And that's for like fire or something? Was there some catastrophic disaster that caused that law to get passed? Like somebody didn't have. There was a catastrophic disaster, yes, for the fire part. Man, the lag on chat, you know. Anyways, thanks Bumblebee for dropping by. It's always good to see you. Probably some kid got scalded with water. That's like, yeah. Anyway, thank you for dropping by, everyone, and I will talk to you maybe tomorrow. Have a good